On everyone, welcome back. Made some big moves yesterday after deciding that I was being a whinus on yesterday's session. Just griping about these VST horns and talking nonsense like I'm gonna go out and buy a bunch of instruments and learn how to play myself. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to trying, but I decided that truthfully, that's going to be quite an investment, and I'm not ready to do it. And the bigger thing is that oh, this channel is about transcending from just a hobbyist musician to a professional musician. And so it's time to get versed in professional tools developed by professionals for professionals. And just because I don't know how to use them doesn't mean that they're not great. Um, I did a good bit of research yesterday on different horn VSTs, um, everything from sample modeling, modeling. There was Glory Days, Session Horns Pro, obviously. Um, so we previously were using session horns like the light. Um, and then the two that I kind of got stuck on and went back and forth on several times was the Chris Hine horns compact. Um, and then what I ended up going with was the straight ahead jazz horns from Impact. And this is kind of like considered entry level pro tool. I think, based on my understanding, this is like, um, you know, the step up from session horns light, but not quite a step up into full orchestra software for, $500-600. So I don't really have any interest in having all that. Um, and ultimately, I think the reason I went with this one was because I liked the focus on the main instruments that I have interest in using, which is just your jazz horns, your trumpets, trombones, saxes, those main ones. I saw there was all sorts of weird horns on the Chris Hine, and that's cool and everything, but I won't use 53 different instruments for sure. I just can't process for that right now. So we went with straight ahead jazz horns, and we are gonna we're gonna dive deep into that today. We're gonna try to figure out some, unlock the potential of this, uh, brass game, and figure out how to fill out the sound in a realistic manner, and figure out mostly how to use these tools as they were intended, um, which is more complex than I ever, my kind of shallow looks into it and efforts at doing it, when you start to break it down into individual instruments, it kind of changed my thinking about everything. I wasn't so much thinking about, oh, what's the best ensemble plug, instrument that I can throw on there and have it play some chords and call it good. That's not going to cut it. It doesn't sound like horns. And rather than um, complain about, how difficult it is, we're just going to work through it, practice, and get better at doing these horns. So that's what we're going to be working on for probably the next couple sessions. It's going to be a deep dive into straight ahead jazz horns. So let's get started. So I have literally done nothing in here other than I took our original horn track, I copied it 3 times, and then cut out the pieces that I wanted for each rather than having them all. Um, And then, so we have a trumpet, trombone, a sax. And then all I did was load up. Um, this one's not loaded. All I did was load up these multi instruments. So this is all 5 saxes. So I loaded these up. I did that for the trumpets. There's 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, and I actually muted all but 2 of them. Now, the really cool thing about the straight ahead jazz horns instrument is all of these were recorded by different players. And so the breath and everything that's been captured, the dynamics between the lead alto sax and the alto sax, they're all different. And so you shouldn't get that phasey effect when kind of stacking things and trying to get a doubled sound, because they were performed by completely different people on different instruments just in the same room, I guess. So I think that's right. It's a lot of research and reading yesterday, but I think that was the gist of it. And then these instruments, like round robin different samples in, and then you're also supposed to map your keyboard to all the different articulations, and then as you're playing you switch those articulations, which is the style of play for each note. So that's a lot of intricate detail that we've got to figure out, because right now we've got a super basic sound. We'll just click on this trumpet. It definitely sounds thicker. It sounds more realistic already, but it doesn't sound like a player played that. It sounds like MIDI. So we're really gonna buckle down and we're gonna get this, because this is what the pros do, and that's what I want to be. So this episode should, if you're in the market for a horns plugin, I'm hoping that this episode will be a good kind of intro tutorial for anyone who wants to learn straight ahead jazz horns, because you're starting off with someone who has literally done nothing in it. I haven't opened it. I haven't turned any of these knobs, so I don't even know it's here. We're gonna figure it all out right now. So thanks for joining me. Let's do it.
"12 hours later."
Well, I can feel the learning curve steepening a little bit on me here. Um, like I said before, this channel is about getting to that next level. And I definitely consider myself to be one of the kind of after gifted, you know, seems like I'm a natural at things. And then as soon as it gets difficult and I actually put in some work, I'll make up some excuses to stop doing stuff. Um, it's just a trend, uh, or, you know, part of my personality that I've noticed over the years. So I'm definitely working on it. And so that's why I went ahead and got this new plugin, because I was like, we need to kind of buckle down and learn this stuff, because other people are using these tools and getting great results. Um, and we can too. It's just going to take some time. And I don't want to shy away from the exposure of a weakness in my game here. Because you know, this channel's about being honest about those sorts of things. We're all just working to get a little better every day at whatever we're doing. So um, let's talk about this thing real quick. Because I learned a lot after I decided to call last night's session. I still kept working for like 2 hours or so. Um, and just was really trying to figure out how to set things up on the keyboard I think I'm having some issues. This is not really, I might have said this on last night, so if I did, sorry for repeating myself. Maybe I could edit it out. Um, this is just like a keyboard, you know. It's not really a MIDI controller, and I'm noticing some kind of mapping issues when it's engaged. Um, like it doesn't, I know a lot of the MIDI controllers kind of C1 is in the middle, sort of. This one is not. There's no C minus, so things are getting a little funny in terms of these are the key switches for these articulations. So I'm trying to figure that out, and I'm also on the side. I like just messaged a guy about um, a new controller, like an advanced one. I think it's an Akai, if that's how you say that. Um, MPK 49 or something. So it's a pretty decent one, and it's in okay shape. Um, but I want to see if that would give us more options for customizing these key switches and navigating through the articulations really fast. Um, One of the things I need to learn how to do is, well, what I want to do is figure out and find some patterns or trends in uh, maybe like if there's some common articulation patterns that you might see that players naturally do just based on the way their tongue and their mouth and their breath holds work. Maybe there's some things that they're like, you know, forte piano glissando this. If you put that on a little three note blah blah blah, you'll get a good result. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I was kind of pondering it last night while I was laying there. Um, so yeah, and then I just, I got to figure out, do you kind of cycle through the articulations as you listen to it, maybe on a loop, just loop it, and then you're just pressing the articulations, and when you find the way you like, when you find it doing something you like, you just, okay, leave that one there, move on to the next note, and start cycling through those again. So it's, there's a process to learn here. Um, but basically, there's a couple things that are triggered by velocity. The sustains uh, go up to 109 on the velocity, and then from 110 to 127 is forte piano. I guess that means loud. Um, and then a couple things on it can only be applied at the tack of, like the start of the note, and then other things are applied mid note. So I'm trying to figure out what works best when you're um, like when you're trying to set these. So these bottom ones, this is the actual part here, and then these bottom ones are the articulation changes that I've found out that I liked. Kind of in a hurry, and you know in my sleepiness in the middle of the night. Once it got to about 3 a.m., I was like, all right, dude, probably let's probably call it and wake up. Um, do it again tomorrow. So, but for some of these, I'm trying to figure out where the best place to put them is. Do you just punch them in like this? Does it need to be a dot? Does it need to be held out? Does it need to come right at the note start or before? So there's some things to learn there. But I started to get a hang of a few of them, but that's where I ran into some issues. Is the keyboard mapping was kind of wonky on here. Um, and it wouldn't even let me. I would love to set these to like a pad or something, like a drum pad, and that's why I'm interested in getting a new keyboard, because I've never really used any of those features. Um, Hold on a sec. Thought I heard a baby crying. Um, so yeah, in the past when I've had like a MIDI, I've had like an M audio controller for a little while, and then I had just some other cheap little thing that looked like it would have come from Apple. It was really streamlined and flat and silver. Um, I never really used the pads and the knobs or anything because I wasn't going pro. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking into it that deep, and thinking and working at that next level. So now we're going to do that, and I would love to have the thing set up to where I'm turning some knobs instead of using a mouse. It's going to give me carpal tunnel anyways, you know? Um, so yeah, so hopefully this guy still has the one that he has, and I can swing by and grab it maybe later today or something. And then we'll see how we can expand this because it would be nice to be able to put a little label on the pad as I'm playing, you know. And then I probably would have to get a foot pedal. That seems to be the way it wants when you open this. I changed this, but it was set at pedal, and like down was one legato and up was glissando or whatever, something like that. So that was how it initiates, and then I changed it to key switch, and then told you that I think I told you that I took out the quarters. Those were previously assigned to C#1, and nothing was assigned to C1. So by taking out the quarters, I opened up two new spots, and you see I've got legato on C1 and glissando on C#1. So, um, and then as I understand it, what it's doing is cycling through different takes of the same note by the same player. And then there's also four or five players per instrument. So it gives you, there's a lot of samples in there, I guess. And it gives you the option to like round robin those samples in a sequence or at random, or turn that off. And so I guess that's how it's kind of like the way that we do our guitars. It's like, I know if I play the same part four times and I play it decent all four times, I can pretty much grab whatever I want and it's going to work in there. But by doing that, you're really changing up, really making the performance sound dynamic because it's really bouncing around, but it's nice and smooth the way it does it. So um, it's got some effects in here. I don't know, you know, how much I'll play with those, or if I'll try to rely on just the regular mixing tools that I do. I tend to be that type of a worker where I kind of ignore these effects that are within a plugin themselves. You know, like Serum has that whole effects tab, and like sometimes I'll try to avoid it, unless you know. Sometimes their Serum's reverb sounds pretty good, and their compressor like does crazy things. I'm not exactly sure how it works, um, but I mean I know how to achieve what I want in it. But it man, that OTT compressor really pumps things up, and I think that the one in Serum is like pretty much that. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much what I've gleaned from my time working in here. Um, I don't know if it's the keyboard issue or if there's a little bit of an inadequacy, so I'll stand by for me to confirm this, but I'm a little disappointed in the octave range on like the trombone. Um, I really am trying to get down to some deep bassy blasts in one part. Bump 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 bump, and I really want that like deep baritone sax, you know, growly sound. And I would like to kind of pair that with, uh, you know, some trombone. But even the bass trombone, I was having trouble based on where the keyboard was starting. The last sampled note was I guess an A. Yeah, it was an A. Uh, and so I couldn't get down to that lowest octave G sharp, and it was just super frustrating because one octave up is doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have that same like burpy sound. So um, we'll see. I'm gonna be kind of bummed, to be honest with you, if that's not, maybe I had some samples not get downloaded or something. I don't know. I'll look into it, but I definitely will be bummed and will, might say that I wish that I went with something else, um, for the potential that that's not the issue on the other one. We'll see. Um, so yeah, I'll just hit play on these horns and you can kind of see where it's at right now. I took off the reverb and I actually think it sounds a little better. Oh no, I put it back on though. But I think it's like really light now. And then I'm on a 14-day trial of JST gain reduction. I'm always seeing it about vocals, and those guys marketing, they blow you up as bad as NFL Shop. My gosh, man. It it so many emails from those two alone every day, and Plugin Alliance too. Good Lord. Um, but I was looking at some of the knobs and stuff on here, like the features that you can manipulate, and it just felt like it could be good on horns and it could be good on cymbals too. These things like breath and clarity, and so I downloaded that just to see, if it would have kind of a unique effect on those things. So I have that on there, and let's just hear like this trumpet. Has a few articulation changes, I think. Nothing set in stone. Still learning, still trying to figure this out. So. See, and this is another bummer right here. I really want this note to be this, but I don't think the sample exists down here. Yeah, it doesn't, like it stops right at that A again, which is it's driving me crazy, man. It's gotta change the whole key of this song. That's not happening. Um, so see, I haven't even begun to explore how the velocity is affecting things. So I know it's pretty quiet. I'm just so afraid to like put a limiter on the like master bus and really crank it. Like I have one on there just to prevent clipping, I think, but it literally is set at nothing. Um, like I would love to jack it up for you guys to hear a little louder, but I don't want to get used to that and then start mixing with that kind of coloring things in the background. So that's really the main reason why I've avoided that. It is on my mind though. So rest assured that it's something that I intend to address. I could also just turn up the darn bus fader. Let's hear this. Yeah, see that one I never even actually meant to do that. So yeah, so it sounds better than it did, and it's nice to be able to control each individual instrument on their own channel. Um, I've never liked working, like having a whole drum kit on one thing and having just MIDI dots everywhere. It's just easier for me to think more monophonically. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I guess we'll call it an episode for this one. We might be back today. That'd be rad. Hopefully I can get that keyboard. My wife is out with EJ, and so there, if the guy seems normal, I might see if he wants to link up with them just so she can bring it home with her. But if not, I'll maybe zip back out and grab it. Um, and then I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of start to get a couple things figured out in terms of the mapping because I would love to be able to show you guys uh, how to do some mapping. I'm going to be learning it myself, so I might as well share the wealth. It's not like I'm like I said, I don't have any secrets to give away here. um, so, but we can figure it out together, and for future generations of musicians looking for some help, maybe that they'll find it here. Um, so yeah, thanks for hanging out, and look forward to dialing in these horns. I could see us working on those, for the next few sessions for sure. And we're going for it. We're gonna make them sound sick, and we're gonna spend a lot of time and be diligent and really try to put ourselves in the shoes of a trumpet player and a saxophone player, and might listen to some stuff to get some ideas or some inspiration, and get it dialed in as best as this plugin can do, because I ain't buying another one. This one was $225. So yeah, like and subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along for the next few sessions or for the next few songs, and I will see you guys back sometime soon for sure. Take it easy.